I was the reason they changed the camp safety rules, but no one in the room recognized my face. The PowerPoint Mink slide showed a simple stick figure falling from a bunk bed, a red line indicating the path to a gray rectangle labeled floor. 20 teenage counselor trainees sat in plastic chairs, half listening to the camp director's safety briefing. This is why we're strict about bed assignments, Miss Winters explained, clicking to the next slide of camp rules. 7 years ago, a camper suffered a serious head injury after falling from a top bunk. Since then, we only assign top bunks to our tallest campers, and we've installed guardrails on all beds. I shifted uncomfortably in my seat, feeling the almost imperceptible ridge of scar tissue hidden beneath my hair. The camper in that story was me. At 12, I'd been thrilled to get a top bunk during 6th grade outdoor education camp. 3 days of forest hikes, campfires, and nighttime whispers with friends from the top bunk felt like freedom. Until the second night when I apparently rolled over in my sleep. I say apparently because I don't remember falling. My last memory is of giggling with my bunkmates about our cute science teacher. Then nothing, just fractured images of fluorescent lights, my mother's tear-streaked face, and doctors asking me to follow their finger with my eyes. My friends later told me they woke to a thud and found me unconscious on the concrete floor, blood pooling beneath my head. The camp nurse recognized the seriousness, immediately dilated pupils, uneven breathing. An ambulance arrived within minutes. The diagnosis: concussion, linear skull fracture, and a small brain bleed that required 3 days in pediatric intensive care and monitoring for 6 months afterward. The school district covered all medical expenses. My parents signed non-disclosure forms, and the incident was reduced to updated safety protocols. Now at 17, I sat in this training room preparing to be a counselor at the same camp. I hadn't told anyone about my history with the place. This was about proving something to myself, that I could return to where my life nearly ended and create better memories. Any questions about the bunk rules? Miss Winters asked, scanning our faces. A boy named Tyler raised his hand. Was the kid okay? The one who fell? Yes, Miss Winters nodded. Fortunately, they made a full recovery after hospitalization. My mouth felt dry. They, not she. The story had been stripped of all identifying features, no mention of gender, which cabin, what year specifically. My trauma had been sanitized into a bureaucratic safety example. Part of me wanted to raise my hand and say, that was me. I am the reason for guardrails and height restrictions. I'm the cautionary tale you are using to scare new counselors. Instead, I sat silently, a strange sensation washing over me. The accident that had defined months of my life, the missed school, the neurologist appointments, the headaches that lingered for a year, had been reduced to a stick figure on a slide. Later that week, I was assigned to Cabin Pine, coincidentally the same cabin where I'd fallen years before during the first night's bed check. I found myself standing at exactly the spot where the camp nurse had knelt beside my unconscious body. Everything okay? My co-counsel asked, noticing my hesitation. I glanced up at the top bunk where a tall 13-year-old girl was already settling in, protected by the guardrail that existed because of me. Yeah, I smiled. Just making sure everyone's where they belong that night, I wrote in my journal. Today I stood in the place where I almost died and no one knew but me. The strangest part wasn't being back here. It was realizing that our worst moments can become institutional memory while we ourselves become strangers to our own stories. Sometimes healing isn't about being recognized. Sometimes it's about watching silently as your pain becomes a protection for others, even when they'll never know your name.